Kentucky isn't plagued with some common issues of other states, like crime and bad infrastructure.
Because they got chicken.
But it ranks really low on something important for a community: health.
Oh, they got chicken. That's the problem. This is gonna go really bad, isn't it? Oh boy. So the Infographics show just ranked the worst states in the US. Speaking of things that could go very bad, you can join me in China in April 2026, and there's still a code you can use on screen to get $250 off. This is only for the next couple hours for a Travel Tuesday deal. Request a spot, and once you start checking out, you can use this code to get a ton of money off. That'll save you $250. Like I said, this is the biggest deal we've ever had for this trip. So if you have been trying to join me and it's just a little bit too financially out of reach, this is probably the best opportunity people are going to get. So use that link down below to traveltrip.com.
Lifespans shorter than Cambodia.
I already know he's going to get into some Alabama slander, isn't he? My birth state?
1 in 5 people going hungry. Crime rates that make Mexico's cartel cities look safe.
That might be New Mexico.
This isn't a struggling nation overseas. This is the United States.
Bro, the United States, I know people say this, but I personally agree with it. There's large portions of the U.S. that are, you're not supposed to use this anymore, but the way they use it, third world countries. I don't like to use that terminology because it's literally just Cold War, who was aligned with who. The first world was just the Western allied US-backed world. The second world was just the Soviet and communist world. Third world was just neutral nations. Unfortunately, it just got mistakenly thrown into economics. Like people just confused it with economics. But anyways, people say that the US, there's parts of it that are third world. That's like a third world country. I would agree with that if that is your definition of third world.
So-called land of opportunity. But which states have it the worst? And is yours on the list? Find out on today's episode of the Infographics Show as we count down the worst states to live in America.
This is going to be a controversial video. Oh, I'm so glad Infographics is going to do it. Now, I don't got to do it, but I can give my own 2 cents about this stuff with my own travels.
Number 16. California can...
And here it is, my current state right now. Oh man, I'm excited about this one. I can smell it. I have so much to say about this one.
Be a great place to live, or an absolutely terrible place to live.
But what is he going to say? Only place where the customer's dogs make more in trust funds than I do in a month.
On your location and wealth level, a wealthy tech exec in Marin County is living a very different life from a cashier in San Bernardino. And that's why...
San Bernardino. Never go there. Never go there. I'm just kidding. I've been there before. It's all right, but, you know, yeah, don't go there.
According to Public Policy Institute of California, the state lost around 412,000 people between July 2020...
Because it's too damn expensive. Okay, actually, these dates, a lot of people left because of their COVID policies, which, you know, yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous how far we went here, in my personal opinion. I would have maybe left... I'm glad that I didn't, but yeah, I think part of this is we took the pandemic way too seriously, and then things got insanely expensive afterwards. Those two things are really killing people.
And July 2023. Granted, people moved around during the pandemic, and the rate of net population loss has slowed down a lot since then, but U-Haul still says 49% of their trucks are rented for people moving into the state, compared to 51% leaving the state.
I could kind of see that just barely. Right now, the biggest issue is it's too damn expensive over here. Like the cost of living, but then also the taxes on top of that, which don't make things any better at all. It's not a very fun place to be. I can't leave it because I just have a system here. I don't want to leave my family. I don't want to leave my friends. And I think the California state government knows that. They know you ain't going to leave because you got your whole life here. I don't even have my work here. That's the crazy thing, is I can leave and I can work remote because I do this full time. But I don't want to leave all my family and friends. So the California state government definitely knows that, and they love to screw us for it. They're like, yeah, you ain't gonna leave. All right, let's go ahead and make things so much worse. Boop.
While that may seem like a tiny difference for the sheer amount of jobs and opportunities California has, there should be way more in the opposite direction. It turns out California's economy may have been too successful for its own good. According to WalletHub, California has become the least affordable state in the country.
Yeah, it has to be. There isn't, you obviously have to bring up New York. That's the only place I can think of. New York, fun fact, was the first time I'd ever seen, I think it was like a $9 coffee. Now in LA, it's the norm. Now, mind you, this was like 3 or 4 years ago when I saw this $9 coffee. I should have known that was coming to a place near me soon. I should have been excited for it. Now, like a $9 coffee is somewhat normal in LA, sadly, and I despise it. Dude, I can even go to like a city like Austin, Texas, and it's still cheaper. Like, you would think that, like, you know, Texas is like the second biggest economic state behind California. Austin is the capital of that second economic state. But you could just feel it, like doing everyday things. Like, it's like, oh, this is cheaper. 100% groceries, just every little thing is cheaper in Austin, Texas than it is in LA.
And while it does have a booming economy, the fourth largest in the world if California were a country, that wealth...
Earthquakes are free, everything else, bankruptcy. Yeah, I mean, they've been saying... They always talk about earthquakes. I don't know, bro. They be saying that big one's going to come, and nothing's come.
Doesn't trickle down to everyone, or even most people. The state also has had a string of bad luck. Major California industries like entertainment are floundering as
I can't wait to talk about this when I eventually review living in the city of LA over on my other channel, Drew IRL. I've been waiting to cover that, but I have to give myself like a full amount of time to fully address all the things that I want to talk about. But yeah, it's weird to be there right now because I used to grow up in the outskirts and now I live in the city, and it's really weird to be there because like Hollywood is dead. I live right next to a major production studio, and you could just feel it. It's just like, it's so dead. People don't make stuff anymore. Bro, I watched I watched a commercial yesterday, and it literally had the label down below, generated by AI. I can't remember, what was it, like a progressive, it was a car insurance commercial where like animals were driving, and the whole thing was produced by AI. And I'm like, it's actually crazy. Like, the industry is not coming back. Hollywood is screwed, right? It's crazy. I would not want to be in that industry right now.
Productions move to other states and countries.
And then, yeah, obviously it's way cheaper to film in Georgia or New Mexico or basically anywhere else. California's trying to address that because no one wants to shoot their film here anymore because of all the taxes we put on it. It's cheaper. This is headlines all over the place, but it is cheaper to fly your whole crew, your cast and crew, and everyone associated with it halfway across the world, film there, pay for their hotels, their food, their lodging, all that stuff, and then fly them back than just to shoot in LA. That's what we've done. That's genius. Oh, man. Oh, the geniuses that thought of that one here in California.
Then there were the devastating LA wildfires of December 2024 that had a huge impact on the city, not to mention the wildfires that devastate parts of California every year thanks to its famously sunny, dry climate.
Sorry, I'm ranting here, but the thing about that Palisades fire is that it hit the people that they need. It didn't hit the people they don't care about, which is the poor people. This hit the rich people in the Palisades. They weren't all hella rich. A lot of them were house rich, which means the vast majority of their wealth was in their house. But there was much more than just that. I mean, there was over like 1,500 houses that burned down to the ground. So yeah, some of those people were, I think it's called house poor, my bad. So all their wealth was actually just tied up in their house, so they actually had no real money. But there was tons of actual rich people that just straight up left, and you don't want that. Like, if I'm already being heavily taxed as a rich person and my house burned down because of bad policy, bro, I'm out of here.
California may be featured in a lot of headlines due to people moving out and its financial issues, but it is hardly the worst state to live in. In fact, it doesn't even touch the top 10.
I mean, we have great climate. Here's the thing, like, I like to go off on these rants about it because I'm here, I've been here, I know what's going on, I know the bad things. I don't like when other people talk about it, especially if you've never been to California, if you've only ever visited, or if you've only been once. Because when I talk to those people, they'll tell me something that, like, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. Like, what fake news hit your timeline, put this in your head, because that's not happening. You know what I mean? I like to talk about it because I'm here. Like, let me tell you exactly some of the bad qualities and the good qualities. Because if you've never been and you're just reading headlines or you're just reading something on the algorithm, like, I don't know what type of, like, weird info is being said. And a lot of the times it's like, bro, what are you talking about? That's not happening here. But let me tell you about this other thing that for sure is going on. But it's a complete mess.
Including it.
But you know, like I said, there's lots of things to do. Great weather. Obviously I haven't left, so there's plenty of positives too. I know I just ranted, but there's also a lot of positives as well.
A couple of states that people are leaving California for. Number 15, the Lone Star State.
Now, this is the next state that I have the most knowledge about, even though I've never lived in Texas. I've been going to Texas my entire life since I was like 3 years old. My whole family basically is from Texas, so I basically go every year for my entire life. And I'm going to say something even more. I'm going to say something even more controversial. I'd rather be in California than Texas. With all that rant that I just did, I will tell you, I think I'd rather be in California than Texas. Maybe my mind will change as I get a little bit older, but right now I've just always seen Texas as hella boring. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm just going to be honest. It's just so boring to me. Like, it's just since I've been 3 and 4 and 5, and just as I've grown older, every time I go, it's like, man, this place is so boring. Now, mind you, I just really go to Dallas and East Texas. I do not like Dallas. I just visited Austin for the first time. Austin was all right. A little weird, but that's what Austin's all about. It's about being weird.
Proud, independent, and always fighting for its rights. But Texas's habit of standing apart from the rest of the U.S. may be hurting it more than helping. Some things in Texas, the energy grid, for example, might work better if they weren't independent.
Let me tell you one thing, too. All the people that I knew, which is only like 2, anecdotally. Actually, I won't. Let me take that back. I knew 2 people that moved to Texas from California, and they moved back to California because of this exact reason that I said. Because like all their family and friends are in California, so they didn't want to be out there anymore. And they mentioned this part. It wasn't very fun. I do know people. I will say I do know a couple people actually that moved to Texas earlier on, like years ago. Because like a lot of people moved, like I said, during like in the last like 5 years. And I think all those people that I knew personally, of course, this is anecdotal evidence, but personally, the people that moved there 5 years or shorter all moved back to California. The people that moved to Texas from California before like 2019, they stayed there though, which is very interesting, I thought.
A 2021 cold front and a snowstorm made headlines when it led to a blackout for large parts of the state for days, resulting in the deaths of at least 210 people. Long-term residents, used to the power going out with a strong wind, weren't surprised at all. According to one congressional report, Texas has had the most power outages of any state between 2019 and
I like that he's talking about this first. As far as I can tell, this is like the first thing that most Texans will admit is really bad. All over the state, they will say that this power thing is actually a big issue.
2023, 263 in total. Ironic for one of the country's top oil and energy producers. Oxfam America also ranked Texas 45th on the list of best states to work because of low wages, limited unionization, as well as few worker protections.
I could see that. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it doesn't seem like there would be many workers' rights out there in Texas.
And then there's crime. In 2024, Texas became one of only 2 states with not 1, but 2 cities on the nation's most dangerous list.
Let me guess, El Paso, and then just Houston? I don't know.
San Antonio placed 10th with a crime rate 146.2% higher than the national average.
Oh, Houston's the other one. El Paso, that's interesting. No El Paso. I heard good things about San Antonio. I heard San Antonio is really, really nice. I've never actually been, though.
Houston placed 9th with a crime rate 156.8% higher than the national average. Don't worry, we'll get to the other state on that list later. In the meantime, let's look at the home of Sin City. Number 14.
Okay.
Just a few years ago, people were moving out of big cities like LA and San Francisco.
We're talking about Vegas, aren't we? Either Vegas or Arizona.
To Nevada. The reason was...
Yeah, Sin City. Okay, just making sure. This is the other state that I feel like I know a lot about because just like Texas, I think I go to Las Vegas about every year. I like Las Vegas. I like Nevada, even though I've only been up to Reno once. But this is probably the first place I would move to if I was pushed out of California.
It's affordable housing relative to...
Finally, I'll be able to buy a house. Yeah, it's very affordable. You get I don't know. Consider other parts of the country, you might say no. I mean, I'm judging it from the lens of California, and California's absolutely insane. Like a 2-bedroom for $1 million. You can at least get like a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom for like $450.
LA and San Francisco, that is. A super low bar of affordability to clear. Now it looks like everyone snatched up all the affordable homes. Nevada has one of the lowest home ownership rates in the country, coupled with some of the highest housing costs. In 2023, 61.2% of Nevadan households owned their home, 4.7% lower than the U.S. average. The median home price in February
Oh, there you go. I said about that range right there.
2025 was $496,000.
The problem with moving to Vegas is like if the economy were to tank, this is the first place that that goes down is Vegas. Because I mean, Vegas is literally built off of people having extra money. So once the economy suffers, Vegas suffers heavily, which is why so many people stare at Vegas for financial readings. They stare at like how many people are still going to Las Vegas. There's been lots of news about how like Vegas is struggling. Maybe not the whole world. A lot of people have their eyes on Las Vegas because the moment Vegas struggles, we know the economy overall is suffering. But Vegas has been kind of in a tough spot ever since COVID.
Higher than Arizona, Connecticut, Virginia, or even Rhode Island. And unlike Nevada, most of those states offer better salaries. The other problem with Nevada? Most of the population has limited upward mobility, at least regarding jobs that require higher education. Only 87.4% of Nevadans have finished high school, ranking it 5th worst nationwide in terms of high school graduation rates. But
I'm just gonna say something. As someone from Southern California, I noticed something my entire life from a very young age, and I was a dumb kid, mind you. No offense to anyone that grew up in Las Vegas, but I had always noticed when I met a kid from Las Vegas, and they grew up there, they were a little messed up. I don't know what it was. Maybe that was me to me. But I noticed it and I'd been saying it my whole life, and I still kind of believe that. Like, when I was a teenager, if I ever just kind of went to a party or had a social event with somebody that grew up in Las Vegas, specifically, not Nevada, in Las Vegas, they were a little messed up. They were a little rough around the edges. You know, they were bad, you know, like, I don't know how to describe it. You know, like, they were like a jump, hop, step away from juvenile hall. I don't know what it was. That's just what I thought. I don't know if that's still kind of a thing. I will say I do know some younger people that live in Vegas, and yeah, they're bad. Like jailable bad.
Nevada's biggest problem going forward may be water. It is the driest state, with only 10 inches of rainfall a year. And cities like Las Vegas keep growing in the middle of the desert, while reservoirs drop to record lows, setting the stage for a full-blown crisis in the future. Unlike other states, they have problems because of their past. Number 13. During the manufacturing boom of the 20th century, Ohio experienced some amazing years
It's all Ohio. Okay, here we go. Here's some states that I don't know that much about.
of growth and prosperity. But like a former high school football star, the state's best days are far, far behind it. As the Steel Belt transformed into the Rust Belt, Ohio's cities fell into disrepair. Buildings in Cleveland, Toledo, and Cincinnati sit empty and abandoned. One 2023 local news report found that 1 out of every 4
Is this why everyone says, like, never go to Ohio? Is that where the memes originated from? Like, everyone's like, it's all Ohio. Is it because in the Midwest, Ohio is actually really, really horrific?
buildings in Cleveland is a vacant lot or building. The problem of empty buildings will only get worse, as Ohio predicts that by 2050, it will experience a net loss of 675,000 people, 5.7%
Isn't a lot of the Midwest, like, hurting like that? Like, really losing a lot of people?
of its population. And with its economy ranked 39th out of all U.S. states,
Oof.
it doesn't look like things are going to turn around anytime soon. Then again, the state is attracting some young people to its universities.
Ohio State. You can win a football championship by going to Ohio State, but you got to go to Ohio. That's the biggest downside.
And it's ranked as the 17th in opportunity, so maybe the future is looking brighter. Our next state is facing similar problems. Number 12. Michigan was once home
I knew they were going to talk about Michigan. It was only a matter of time. We talked about Ohio State. We got to talk about their biggest rival, Michigan.
to the booming Motor City, where cars and music defined Detroit. Today, that same city ranks second in violent crime.
Is it still bad? It's kind of sad because it's obviously been struggling for a very, very long time here, but so they're just screwed. Detroit is never recovering.
Nearly 400% above the national average, and
Jeez.
third in overall crime, at almost double the national rate. A lack of jobs, high poverty, and the resulting crime rate has caused Michigan to experience net out-migration since the 1970s. And that means domestically, more people are leaving Michigan most years than moving in.
Is that why Michigan is like, you hear all sorts of interesting communities in Michigan? Is that what's going on here? Because everyone is leaving, that they need the extra population? This is scary. Like, Detroit is an interesting example because it's like, oh, once everyone, like, if you want the quintessential example of, like, typically cities are built around like a kind of a singular industry or a couple of singular industries, and Detroit is a perfect example of what, like, for example, Las Vegas could be if they lose their singular industry. Like Las Vegas is probably the most vulnerable to becoming Detroit 2.0 by losing the reason why they're even there. Detroit lost automobiles. I mean, there's still a lot there, but they weren't what they used to be, and now it looks like this.
A 2024
I heard Detroit got better, though. I don't know.
study by the University of Michigan found that 13% of Michiganders live below the federal poverty line, while 26% of locals may live above it. They are
I think the numbers are going to get way, way, way worse for some of these other states.
still teetering on the brink of an economic cliff. In total, that means 39% of Michiganders are financially vulnerable, almost 2 out of every 5 people in the state. To make things worse, winters are brutal. In January, you can expect an average high temperature of 31 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 19 degrees Fahrenheit. The constant temperature changes with hot, humid summers and freezing winters haven't helped one of the state's other biggest issues, its infrastructure. The Citizens Research Council of Michigan ranked the state 40th in road and bridge conditions in 2024. No wonder people can't wait to leave and probably bust their car up on the way out. Moving away from the Rust Belt, let's go to number 11.
South Carolina. I have a friend that moved to South Carolina. He said it was horrible, and he came back.
Comes to mind when you think of South Carolina? Mint juleps, classy old homes in Charleston. How about the country's 5th highest homicide rate? Or one of the worst poverty gaps in the country? Life in South Carolina can be pretty harsh. U.S. and World News ranked it among the top 10 worst states to live in, partly
this place is very bad
because of rampant crime and a pretty bad system of education. If you are rich in South Carolina, you may not have noticed any issues at the local schools. That's because you can afford not to. But the state system performs terribly overall. Just over half of South Carolina's 3rd through 8th grade students perform at their
This is interesting that we're talking about this because I was actually researching how Mississippi has been getting a little bit. Okay, so Mississippi's probably going to be number 1 on this list. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. Either Mississippi, New Mexico, or Alabama, my birth state. But I heard Mississippi's doing better in education slowly. What did they do again? They did something.
Grade level in math or reading, which means almost half are performing below grade level. One surprising problem in South Carolina, 1 in 5 students is chronically absent, missing more than 10% of class.
That's bad.
When kids aren't in school, they usually end up in trouble. Unfortunately, this is true in South Carolina, where lots of students go to prison before they're even old enough to graduate.
Bro, that's crazy.
South Carolina's juvenile incarceration rate is a full 10% higher than that of the U.S. And since the state's economy is ranked 39th nationwide, it's not like there's a lot of job opportunities keeping people out of prison. South Carolina also ranks near the bottom for earnings, 11th worst for single-person households, 9th for 2-person, and 8th for 3-person. Our next state, however, ranks 6th worst in medium income.
I heard South Carolina was pretty bad, but that when you put it like that, it's kind of scary.
Per person. Number 10. Kentucky isn't plagued with some common issues of other states, like crime and bad infrastructure.
Because they got chicken.
But it ranks really low on something important for a community, health. Turns out,
they got chicken. That's the problem.
The Bluegrass State has some of the unhealthiest people around, considering it is competing with the Deep South, where
I was going to say the Deep South is all like this though, right?
Everything has to be fried at least twice before serving. That is quite the accomplishment. The state is almost dead last in the country for exercise.
I will say that is one thing, not to, I don't really normally support or bring up good things about California, but I will say we do have a very healthy populace. That's not to say there's not obese people in California. There certainly is. But I do like that about California. It seems like generally speaking, people are very health conscious. The closer you are to the beach, the more likely you are to be working out, at least in California. I don't think that's necessarily the case in a lot of these other places.
With 32.5% of the population completely physically inactive. They also have the 4th highest rate of smoking and the 5th lowest levels of childhood vaccination.
I wonder who's
Unsurprisingly, Kentucky also has some of the highest levels of preventable hospitalization. So, what is the state doing to fix things? Well, in 2021, Kentucky had a $1.8 billion shortfall.
Jeez, that's a lot of money.
And it regularly makes the list of states needing the most in federal handouts. So it doesn't seem like Kentucky can do much to fix its problems right now. The average resident makes an income of $25 per hour as well, so people's savings can only go so far when it comes to healthcare. At least they have some beautiful hills and landscapes, which, as our next state shows,
I heard Kentucky is very nice for nature. A lot of these states, Michigan, South Carolina, I heard they have very nice nature.
Doesn't make up for all the local problems.
I'm sure it's not as bad as this video is going to like show. You know, I'm sure these places, there's probably going to be people like, oh, this place is not that bad, or yada. I mean, remember, you just got to remember that we are highlighting only the worst of the worst in the top 16 states.
Number 9. You might think the worst things about living in Alaska are the cold and the endless nighttime hours in the winter.
I heard it's alcoholism. I heard that they have crazy rates of, and that's kind of goes, that's just how cold places work. If you're trapped in your house all day because it's too cold to go outside, you're going to drink to have fun.
And you would be wrong. Not that the cold or the darkness are all that great either. For all its unspoiled beauty and vast wilderness, Alaska has a lot of crime.
Yeah, like they're high in murder and just crime in general, violent crime.
In fact, it has the highest violent crime rate in the entire country.
There you go.
You'll soon see which surprising state has the second highest, but also the...
That's probably because the only people that moved to Alaska probably already committed a crime and they're running from the law, and they maybe got away with it, and now they're going to do it again in Alaska because this is the place to go if you're trying to be remote.
Highest property crime rate, coupled with a small labor market due to its small population and outrageous housing costs. Alaska is getting more difficult to live in every year, and no wonder, as one study found that Alaska had the lowest average income growth of all 50 states.
Jeez, the cost of living is rising, but so like the livable areas of Alaska is very few. Obviously, Alaska is a massive state; it is the biggest state, but the livable parts, that's the issue. Which might come to a surprise that, you know, housing is so expensive. It's the same thing that Canada has. Obviously, Alaska is right there next to Canada, but Canada has arguably an even worse housing situation than we do, because there's just not a lot of places that are super livable and that, you know, where you want to actually build housing at.
Though workers in Alaska have the highest average weekly work hours, it turns out hard work doesn't pay off at all. Perhaps that's why U.S. World and News ranked its economy 45th of all U.S. states. After the coronavirus pandemic, Alaska's main industries, oil and tourism, were severely hurt, and they haven't fully rebounded. But things there aren't nearly as bad as in number 8. Only 3.8% of Oklahomans eat their daily recommended intake of fruits and vegetables, compared to a national average of 7.4% of people in the U.S. Okay, so no one's really doing great when it comes to healthy eating, but only 23.4% of Oklahomans meet federal physical
So this is going to be a health issue with Oklahoma.
activity guidelines. That translates to Oklahoma having the highest rate of heart disease in the nation, with over 250.
What states are going to be left off this list? I'm very curious. Is Florida or New York going to be left off? Massachusetts? What big one? Illinois with Chicago?
Deaths per 100,000 people due to heart problems. But if you need to call a doctor there, you might be out of luck.
I feel like this video is just highlighting like the worst aspects of certain states. Like, you know, okay, Oklahoma has a bad health problem, but maybe they're good at education. Maybe they're good at, you know, yada, yada. I don't know, you know, but we are highlighting specific things. Health is not, I mean, I feel like if you're a healthy person and you move to Oklahoma, well, Oklahoma's not going to be that bad, right? Is that the case?
14.6% of Oklahomans avoid healthcare because it's too expensive for them. And maybe that's because almost 25% of Oklahomans aged 19 to 64, and maybe that's because almost 25% of Oklahomans aged 19 to 64 don't have any health
What's wrong with that edit there, Infographics? Come on now.
insurance at all. Make no mistake, residents still get their hands on plenty of drugs, just not the ones their doctors would recommend. Oklahoma has some of the highest rates of tobacco use in the country.
I thought we were talking about something else. Okay. Where's West Virginia going to be at? I completely forgot about West Virginia.
15.8% of the population smokes. It doesn't have nearly as
It's either going to be Mississippi or West Virginia that their number one state is.
terrible healthcare as our next state, though. Number 7. There's a well-known saying in Alabama, at least...
Oh, here it is. Here's my birthday. Now, I was born in Montgomery, the capital. It's a bigger city. But, yeah, I've been recommended to... Be careful in Montgomery, obviously.
Mississippi, which isn't just a spoiler for a higher-ranked state. You knew that was coming. But it also means that residents' biggest brag is simply not being among the very worst.
Alabama's biggest, our biggest, like alphabet is just like, hey, at least you're not Mississippi.
Alabama's educational system used to rank below Mississippi's.
I was going to say Alabama.
Coming in last in 2019. But Education Weekly still gives the public school system a D+ today because of subpar student performance and adult outcomes.
Okay, this must be like high school, middle school. There's pretty good universities there. I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Alabama University. If you want to watch some good football, you can go to Alabama University. Auburn. They got that NASA They got some NASA stuff in Alabama.
The lower rates of higher education are too bad, especially because the state could really use a whole lot more doctors. Locals have the lowest access to healthcare providers in the entire country, which is maybe why Alabama ranks 49th for overall health. As a result of poor healthcare and poor lifestyles, rates of obesity and diabetes are sky high.
You know what I've been hearing that's really nice in Alabama? The Mobile and or more south by the Panhandle, by Florida. That stuff by the Gulf of Mexico I heard is actually a very nice area. From Alabama to Florida to maybe even Mississippi. I heard that strip is really nice. I'm really curious about that.
39.2% of the population is obese, placing it 5th among states that send in the data. This won't surprise anyone who has eaten a plate full of cholesterol in Mobile, but it contributes to some other pretty bad stats, like the 3rd lowest life expectancy in the country, with the average Alabama resident dying at 72 years old.
That is so young. Bro, mind you, like Japan, South Korea, and I think some random Monaco in Europe have like average life expectancies to be like 85, 86, 87. I mean, some of the top countries are getting close to late 80s at this point. So 69, 72.
And the average man not even making it to his 69th birthday, compared to an average U.S. life expectancy of 7.
It's because our food sucks. Honestly, our food sucks. Even in California, the food sucks. I don't know what it is. I don't want to go another rant about this, but I do not trust our food here in the U.S. Food tastes so much better, and it's just so much healthier everywhere else. I don't know. I don't want to get into this round again, but I just, I just don't try. I mean, I obviously have to eat the food in the U.S., but something feels off. Something really feels off whenever I do travel to another country and eat the food. It just feels fresher. I feel like I don't gain as many pounds. It's real weird.
8.3 overall. That is almost a decade off of their life. At least Alabama can be comforted in knowing that, yes, all those stats are in fact worse in Mississippi. So much worse that it's not even the next state on our list. First, let's talk about number 6. Tennessee scores low on crime, labor protections, and
a lot of people talk about Tennessee right now. They have good corporate tax rate, I think, and then obviously they have no income tax, something like that.
Inclusive.
So a lot of rich people like to move to Tennessee, Nashville.
And it hasn't just been sliding down the rankings, it's been free-falling. Crime has always been an issue in Tennessee, dragging the state's quality of life metrics down for years. And it's the primary reason why
also knew a Californian that moved to Tennessee. He hated it, moved back a year later. Why do I have so many examples of this? This is kind of crazy.
According to Newsweek, the state dropped 7 places in overall.
I guess it makes sense because obviously I wouldn't hear back from the people that moved to a state and then never came back. Since I'm living in California, obviously I'm only hearing the anecdotal evidence of the people that moved someplace else and moved back.
All quality of life state rankings in just 1 year. According to USA Facts, Tennessee's crime rate in 2024 was nearly 65% higher than the national average. Just a year earlier, the state logged over 43,000 violent crimes, including more than
I actually didn't know Tennessee had such high crime rate. This is a little surprising to me.
700 murders, which means a true crime podcast could go on for over a decade based on 1 year in Tennessee alone. That's why, in addition to Texas, Tennessee is the other U.S. state with 2 different cities ranked among the country's most dangerous.
Nashville and what is the other big one? I am blanking on the big cities that Tallahassee?
Nashville with a crime rate 165.8% higher than the national average, and not to be outdone, Memphis ranking first in
Memphis is first.
The country with a crime rate of 343.6% higher.
Oh, Tallahassee's nice. Tallahassee's just like a college area, right?
Maybe that's why 27.3% of the state has dealt with depression in their lives compared to just 21% of the U.S. in general. That is a tad bit higher than our next state as well, but they have other issues too. Number 5. In Arkansas, 25% of residents are depressed. Nearly 40%.
Bro, y'all got Walmart. You're the headquarters of Walmart.
Are obese, and the state has the 4th highest death rate from heart disease. Put together, Arkansas's health is in serious crisis, and the healthcare system there doesn't help. It ranks 49th.
This is kind of funny, but whenever I'm watching like police body camera footage here on YouTube, which I love that stuff. I don't know why I go down those rabbit holes every once in a while. Every like week, I'll go down and watch just a bunch of body cam footage in the U.S., which I think is peak content here on YouTube. Absolutely peak content right now. But whenever I see an incident occurs in something like Arkansas or New Mexico, you know it's about to go down. Like it's funny how you can literally judge by the state it's in. You click on a video, you kind of figure out like what state it's going to be in. Okay, you're about to see some wild stuff if it's either in Arkansas or New Mexico.
In the nation, nearly
That's what I figured out. Those are the two that I really hone into.
13% of residents can't afford coverage at all, and even those with access often skip critical care. People in Arkansas have trouble getting hold of a lot of necessities. Between 2021 and 2023, Arkansas ranked as the most food-insecure state, with nearly 19% of residents unable to afford enough food for their families. It sounds strange given the state's high obesity levels, but that's because when people can barely afford to eat, the cheapest option is usually the unhealthiest junk food. Arkansas is also a true testament to the idea that prison has zero positive effect on crime rates. The state has the fourth highest incarceration rate in the country. 912 out of every 100,000 residents are in prison. And it also has the fourth highest violent crime rate in the country. Arkansas does take first place in one unusual...
I mean, it's interesting to keep in mind that every state faces like massively different issues that are going on. I mean, obviously this video is covering that, but every state is tackling drastically different things going on, just like countries do all around the world as well.
Usual category. It has the lowest rate of dentist visits in the nation.
Ooh.
Add in a smoking rate of nearly 23%, and, well, let's just say Arkansas won't be showing off many smiles and selfies.
Damn.
You know who beats Arkansas in most health metrics, though? Number 4.
I'm surprised West Virginia only got 4. That's actually crazy.
The once great coal mining state of West Virginia has had it rough lately. It has the second lowest median household income, $51,600 per family, and the fourth highest poverty rate at 16.7%.
Damn, that's almost, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That's 15 out of every 100 people you just see walking by you in West Virginia. They are going to be in poverty.
And its main industry, coal, isn't coming back anytime soon because
whatever poverty level means, though, I wish we knew how to define that or what that definition of it is.
It doesn't make sense financially or environmentally.
Yeah.
West Virginia is defined by a trio of unemployment, poverty, and despair.
This list is just like states or cities that basically had an industry once and now no longer has that industry, and everything crumbled around it. It's pretty sad.
Nation's highest lifetime depression rate of 26.4%, it became ground zero for the opioid crisis.
Yep.
Though opioids have caused unnecessary deaths everywhere, their spread in West Virginia has been truly tragic. The state now has the highest rate of heroin use in the country, with 1.1% of the population using. West Virginia also leads the nation in smoking, with 28% of residents lighting up.
Oh, so there you go. There's the answer. It's West Virginia #1 for cigarettes.
And when it comes to exercise, barely 1 in 5 even meet the minimum federal guidelines.
Jeez.
Lastly, U.S. infrastructure doesn't generally score high on almost any count, but the situation in West Virginia is really bad. The double hit of poverty and a state that is almost completely
difficult to maintain infrastructure at the proper levels in
covered in mountains make building and maintaining good infrastructure extremely hard.
Man, John Denver would be so disappointed.
According to the infrastructure report card, a third of West Virginia roads are in poor condition. The overall infrastructure gets a D grade, not something you would be proud to show off on your report card. A grade that low puts many of the state's systems at risk, and that is bad.
That's why we need to just infuse. We need to build like a NVIDIA factory just in the heart of West Virginia and force everyone to start working these chip makers. I mean, that's kind of what they do, right? I mean, what is the example I'm losing? Did they put some sort of factory in South Carolina or something like that? Aren't all like once Toyota's forced over here to start building their cars, we're going to put them in some of these states that really need the help, manufacturing-wise and just job-wise.
Bad news for a place that relies on countless bridges and tunnels just to stay standing. Number 3, ranking New Mexico.
Wow! New Mexico? Okay, so Mississippi's gonna be 1. Who's 2? Who am I missing?
Mexico third might be generous. In 2025, WalletHub ranked the state as the worst to live in overall. The survey took 51 factors into account, and New Mexico did well in almost none of them. It ranks 49th in safety, 48th in education.
Georgia? Who am I missing?
And only 25th in affordability. You would imagine the trade-off for living in the state that chills at the bottom of almost every ranking is that at least it would be cheap, but no.
Yeah, sadly, someone did a video recently about how all the surrounding states around New Mexico are doing pretty fantastic. That's Texas, Colorado, Arizona, but New Mexico just screwed.
Only semi-affordable, apparently. Even that 48th in education might be a lie because another source, EdWeek Research Center, actually said that public schools in New Mexico are the worst in the country. While 85.8% of U.S. students graduate high school, only 75% of New Mexico students do. Crime is a really big problem in the state.
3 out of 4 students finish high school in New Mexico. Am I reading that right?
Only 75% of New Mexico.
It's 85% in the U.S. as a whole, which is still not as high as I thought it was going to be. But 70, that's crazy. Only 3 out of 4 kids are finishing high school in New Mexico.
Mexico students do.
That's
Crime
insane.
is a really big problem in the state. It has the highest property crime rate of any state, with over 2,700 offenses per 100,000 people. It has the second highest violent crime rate.
Yeah, New Mexico is very violent. It's lots of crime.
With 717 offenses per 100,000 people.
Albuquerque's crazy.
Just 1% less than the top offender, Alaska. Unfortunately, New Mexico is also near the top of the list for childhood poverty, with 26% of kids at or below the poverty line. Speaking of places with high poverty rates, number 2.
What is it?
Brutal heat, high poverty, and bad health unfortunately define a fair amount.
Who is number 1? That's crazy. Who is number 1? I can't believe Mississippi only took 2. Who the hell am I missing?
Of Mississippi. The U.S. and World News Report has ranked this southern state the second worst in the country for multiple years in a row. It did climb to only the 3rd worst state in 2025, so hey, progress. Mississippi has the
Is this a trick question? Are you going to do like Puerto Rico or something at number 1?
second most obese residents, 40.1% of the state. It also has the highest rates of infant mortality, preterm birth, and low birth weights. That makes sense when you learn that over 50% of working Mississippians have no health insurance at all. In addition, the state also holds the worst ranking in the Economic Hardship Index. The average per capita income in Mississippi is just
Dude, $30,000 a year. That's crazy.
over $30,800 a year.
Wow.
By far, the lowest in the country.
You know, they say, though, that Mississippi still on average makes more money than the average Canadian, though. I don't know if that's true because, you know, you have to associate with Canadian dollars and that the whole switch up there. But I heard, or after tax, something about after tax, because you don't get taxed like at all in Mississippi, right? I guess it depends on the thing. But yeah, I did see a meme that was saying Mississippi on average is richer than a Canadian. But obviously that doesn't... There's so many factors that go into that. I mean...
A staggering 18% of residents live at or below the poverty line. The country's highest rates of unemployment and food insecurity make matters even worse, as residents have a hard time fighting their way out of poor conditions. Maybe that's why Mississippi has the lowest life expectancy in the country.
I think it's got to be Puerto Rico. It's got to be a trick question. Or are you going to do like D.C.? I don't know much about the state of D.C., but...
With an average lifespan of...
Sorry, not state, like it's U.S. state. It's not a U.S. state, but it's a district. I just mean the state of it, like state of address.
Just 70.9 years old. That places it on par with Nepal and Cambodia.
Damn.
Sounds pretty bad, right? Wait, which state could possibly be worse? Number 1. In 2024...
Well, I didn't think about Louisiana.
Louisiana was ranked the worst state to live in by WalletHub, though it...
By WalletHub. Okay, let's see by what standards. I don't normally see... I know Louisiana's not good. Louisiana's not good by any means, and they were devastated by Katrina, and they never left. Actually, I was just seeing how... Or sorry, they never came back. A lot of people left New Orleans after Katrina, and they just moved to Houston.
Was dethroned by New Mexico in 2025.
Oh, wow.
We still think it deserves number 1 on the list, and here's why. Louisiana has the highest percentage of people living in poverty, 18.9% in 2022,
That's almost 20%.
according to the U.S. Census Bureau. It also has an astounding crime rate. The cities of New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge are among the most dangerous cities in the U.S. Though Louisiana doesn't have the highest violent crime rate, it does have the highest homicide rate, which is the crime you would like least to happen to you, probably. There were 15.8 murders per 100,000 people in 2020 alone. To give you an idea of how crazy that is, the second highest state, Missouri, had only 10.4 homicides per 100,000.
Wow.
On a related note, Louisiana also has the highest incarceration rate.
Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty good qualifier for worst state. If you have the most homicides, you got to be up there as worst state.
In 2020, 680 out of every 100,000 people were behind bars. Add some horrible environmental issues to the mix, and life there seems even worse.
Again, this only continues to push it's either industries that left or evaporated, or I mean, it's like places that just got I mean, obviously New Orleans just got destroyed by a hurricane. That was over 20 years ago.
Louisiana is home to what's known as Cancer Alley. Over 2,000 fossil fuel and petrochemical production plants exist along an 85-mile stretch of the Mississippi River between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. For decades, they've been allowed to pump toxins into the air and water, driving up cancer rates in towns all along the river. Just one of those areas was shown to have the highest risk of cancer from industrial air pollution in the country, 7 times the national average. And Johns Hopkins researchers believe that those rates have actually been underestimated. Louisiana isn't exactly the picture of health. Nearly 40% of residents are obese, and life expectancy is the
It's about on par for the Deep South, 72.
4th worst in the nation at just 72.2 years. The city's also prone to hurricane damage, which didn't end with Katrina. Louisiana
I mean, it constantly still gets hit.
is dangerously exposed to rising seas, with much of New Orleans sitting at or even below sea level. FEMA's National Risk Index ranks it the worst in the nation for natural disaster losses, at an average of $246 per person. So if you live in Louisiana, you have higher chances of dying by pollution, natural disasters, fellow residents, and obesity, just to name a few.
Wow.
Some states in America might
I don't know if I would agree that Louisiana should be number 1, but I like the twist. I like that they decided to do that. I think my list would have been significantly different than that. I think they focused more on making an entertaining video than maybe a factual one. Oh, it's not that it wasn't filled with facts. It was definitely filled with facts, but I just don't think their ranking probably should have looked that way. But it was an interesting video. The number one surprised me, and I'm glad you threw in California so I could definitely rant about that. And here's a big thank you to this month's patrons. Can white people smell the rain? It's pronounced Tour des Sillas, Drew. Drew Labubu. Conquered Bread. Whitegrape of the Pirates. Never change, Drew. Unless you want to. LuxembourgLover. Fredrik Tibblin. Pavlik. KingBearHaze. NordTyrol. LoreTrack. Name here.
Nolan.
Check the Patreon link down below in the description.